in this section of Yojana, we would discuss about the developments that have been done so far. So we'll be starting with the space industry. In the space, we have three important missions that are to be cited. Mars mission, we all know, Aditya L1 for the solar mission, and then we do have the Chandrayaan, that's the moon mission. So year 2023 has been remarkable in the field of space explorations. Also, we are planning to have India's space station by 2028. So remarkable developments on the way. Now coming on to some of the major things and the obstacles we face are mainly in the field of manufacturing, assembly and testing. We have seen Earth observatories, communication, navigation and exploration. Now Aditya L1. Aditya L1 is India's first effort to study sun, and it would be placed at L1, which is the Lagrange point 1. There are 4 such Lagrange points. The idea is this is a point where the earth and the sun's gravitational balance actually takes place. Now there are 4 payloads which directly observe the sun, and 3 remaining actually are seen at different locations. Now this is where we understand the main idea about studying the halo features and the solar dynamics. The next is AstroSat. So India's first solar space observatory was brought in 2015 from by PSLV C30, and from 54 different countries 2000 people have signed up for using that AstroSat data. The next is Mars orbiter mission, was launched in 2013. The idea is over the period of 8 years of this period, we have been studying the surface of the Mars, and the data has been brought. Now under the moon mission, there have been 3 important missions that have been so far. The one is Chandrayaan 1, which talked about the impact probe, basically the cache, which was launched by Chandrayaan 1. And it was the first artificial object to reach the South Pole. Chandrayaan 2 talked about the various instruments, for example, understanding the elemental mapping using high resolution instrument for exospheric dynamics. Chandrayaan 3 mission talking about understanding the sulfur on the lunar surface detected by LIBS, understanding the science payloads, the moon South Pole mission as we have talked about, also the rover movements using ELISA, and plasma using Ramba. The next is IRNSS and NVS, which is the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, also known as NAVIC, that is navigation with Indian constellation, arrayed by 2 solar panels, and this gives in real-time positioning data and timing services. Now the location-based services have been integrated with mobile phones, terrestrial navigation, disaster management. Also we are talking about focusing on the second generation navigation payload, which includes L1 navigation band as one of the major ones. The other important are ExpoSat. For scientific researches, we are also talking about lunar mission for construction of the Bharat Space Station. The industry sector. Now under the industry sector, we focus on the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, India's national logistic policy focusing on various platforms, and focusing on a 3-tier institutional arrangement for various ministries and development. The next is under the infrastructural development, we talk about Gati Shakti, which is the infrastructure multimodal connectivity, focusing on 4 objectives: comprehensiveness, optimization, analytical and dynamic approach, and 4 of these have been incorporated under the master plan of Gati Shakti. The master plan talks about 25,000 kilometers of national highway, a unified logistics interface, open source mobility, one station, one product, Vande Bharat trains, ropeway and infrastructural projects. Besides that, Startup India, logistics policy, Khadi industry, production linked schemes are some of the important ones. Now the Geological Survey of India in the last 163 years has expanded, and we are talking about various missions in the regions of Central, East, North, North Central, West, and the representative administratives for the both. Now the Bureau of Mines focuses on an approach for understanding the conservation and exploitation of mineral resources, mainly coal, petrol, natural gas, and the duties are performed under the various acts. For example, the Mineral Conservation 2017, the Mineral Concession Rules 2016, the various rules for environmental protection, and there have been 3 PSUs under the Ministry of Mines, for example NALCO, HCL and Mineral Exploration Corporation, right? The next is the sporting powers. Now the Asian Games 2022 have been highly historic for India. We had bagged various medals under 16 different sporting categories. Our women archers have won 3 gold, 2 bronze. There have been various medals. The overall tally in the world has improved from India to 5th. Khelo India is one such a scheme which focuses on coaching, sports science, diet, equipment, the consumable items and insurance. The gifted and talented children would be provided the pathway for development. There have been associations for National Sports Federation, School Games Federation, University Sports Promotion. Then we have a target Olympic podium scheme specifically targeting for top athletes from India for Olympic preparation. Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports have been working with Sports Authority of India, the SAI, the National Center for Excellence, the Extension Centers, the Sport Talent Contest, and have been focusing on Indian games as well, for example archery, kho-kho, Indian wrestling. The next is transformation in the transport sector. In the transport sector, we have been focusing on Gati Shakti that we have already discussed. Besides that, Bharatmala, National Vehicle Registration, e-tolling, Parvatmala Pariyojana, Railway Finance, Vande Bharat are some of those. There are various roads that have to be taken into account. The rules regarding that, for example, construction of highway, administration of motor vehicles, National Highway Act, National Highway fees, formulation of broad policies for automotive normations. Also Bharatmala Pariyojana, which talks about construction of a huge dimension of road, the investment for the same, Golden Quadrilateral North, South, East, West, focusing on economic corridors. The feeder road, the inter corridors have been taken into account. The next is Sagarmala program. Sagarmala program has 5 pillars for port modernization. This talks about port modernization, connectivity, port-led industrialization, coastal community, coastal shipping. Also, it focuses on new port, connectivity, coastal community, and so on. Now, among the major ports, we have the Kolkata, Paradeep, Visakhapatnam, Chennai, Kamaraj, Ennore. There have been various other categories which have been taken into account for direct administration in the union list, and these ports now fall under the central government. There are important ports on the west coast, for example Cochin, Marmagoa, Mumbai, Neva Sheva, Deen Dayal, which was previously the Kandla port, have been some important ones. Then we have the Green National Highway Corridor. This is started in 2006. And this was launched with a vision of developing eco-friendly highways, the policy plantation, reducing the air pollution, reducing the noise pollution, and checking the soil erosion and the slopes. Also, we talk about the NHAI, National Highway Authority of India, which focuses on development, maintenance and management, and how these can be brought forward. Under this project, we are upgrading, rehabilitating the major highways, also focusing on economic development. E-tolling is a national way to collect the toll through the fees plaza, which brings in more transparency, and this has been rolled out through the National Electronic Toll Collection Program. Sugamya Bharat Abhiyan talks about accessible India campaigns. This is in line with the rights to person with disability, providing them facility with universal accessibility. People at the airport would be provided with the service where there is reduced mobility. There are old people, children, expected mothers who actually need this kind of help. Parvatmala Pariyojana is again for the hilly areas and relieving the congestions in the urban area, for example Varanasi, Ujjain. There is another project which is known as Agriculture and Rural Development. Now, UN General Assembly declared 2023 as the International Year for Millets. We have various welfare programs assimilating the idea of profitability, productivity and prosperity that has taken into account. There has been 9 years of Swachh Bharat mission, which has been talking about achieving 75% open defecation free plus villages. There has been Swachhata Se Seva scheme, garbage free India, budgetary allocation and announcement. Also talking about the continuation and improvement of the quality of life. Heavy millets. Now under the heavy millets, we are talking about exporting of the millets, food security, popularizing the nutritional value of Indian millets. There have been decisions for the same that have been taken into account. Now water and water supply. So Jal Jeevan mission is another important one, where we are talking about providing water and connectivity through the water. Now this includes the quality of the water, the supply of the tap water, planning from the bottom, women empowerment, focus on future skill development, understanding the grey water, that is reuse and recycle the waste water for better sustenance, and focusing on conservation. The next is digital transactions. Under digital transaction, we talk about promoting digital transactions under 50,000 gram panchayats through bank encashments for direct benefit schemes. Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan has been revamped for alleviating the ideas of poverty, bringing in child-friendly, water-sufficient and clean and green areas. G20 Presidency of India has brought and highlighted key issues, for example, food security and nutrition 2023, International Millets and Other Ancient Grain Initiative, which is known as Maharshi scheme. Then we have talked about elevating the ideas, and some IT based specific initiatives have been taken into account. Now this talks about agricultural revolution, financial inclusion, optimizing the data utilization, bringing in Kisan credit cards, Ghar Ghar KCC Abhiyan is one such effort. Then weather information network data systems. Now this is a comprehensive system for understanding the functionalities, data interpretation and utilization. The next is the PM Pranam. Now PM Pranam has been a scheme for restoration, awareness generation, nutrition and amelioration of Mother Earth. The idea is to support alternative farming and conservation. There has been examples of nano DP liquid. The ideas have been for Ujjwala Yojana, PM Sadak scheme, Mahatma Gandhi Rural Empowerment Guarantee Scheme are some of those. The next is understanding the India's rising power. So India has been called as Vishwamitra, Vishwaguru and Vishwavair. That is global friend, global teacher and global physician. Now we have certain climate action commitments of reaching net zero emission, talking about BharatNet, the optical fiber cable connectivity, clean energy, which talks about a system where we are talking about 40% energy capability from non-fuel sources. This is a remarkable number. So we have certain pillars which we have identified. For example, oil and gas, power and energy, renewable energy, sustainable pillars and emerging fuel. So focus on energy is really important, and in terms of renewable sources of energy, India is the third largest in renewable, fourth in wind, fifth in solar and third in renewable energy resources. The next is EU and clean energy mission under climate partnership. So this talks about the activities like offshore wind energy, rooftop solar panels, renewable energy and its integration. The next is mission life and climate crisis. Now here we have taken the path for deployment to understanding the issues of climate, the climate emergency, the financing of the climate, and mission life, that is lifestyle for environment, plays an important role, where we are dedicated to promoting our lifestyle so that we are utilizing the issues in a minimum way and a maximum benefit can be generated. With the exceptional semiconductor design talent pool, India has 20% of the semiconductor design engineers. Most of the top R&Ds in semiconductor labs have Indians employed. We have now collaboration with Australia and Japan, and there is a chain resilience initiative addressing the supply chain crisis which is seen for semiconductors. The chain disruption is mainly regarding the rare earth metals, lithium, cobalt, copper and nickel supply. Now digital infrastructure and building the digital infrastructure is really important, the ownership for the same. Now India's Digital India needs to have an increased affordability and accessibility of internet, bring in programs for digital dashboard, for UIADA, Aadhaar, unified payment as some of those. Yoga and Ayurveda are some of the things that we are again focusing on. So yoga as one of the events which has been brought for competitions. Again, we are boosting natural immunity through Ayurvedic medicines and home remedies. Vaccine Maitri has delivered vaccines to 101 countries during the COVID time, and there have been open source apps like Arogya Setu and Coven which have been developed. These are some of the important efforts that we have seen in this edition. So this edition of Yojana specifically talks about some of the things that we have discussed. The handouts for the same are available on examrace.com in the current affairs section, so you can check the handouts for the monthly Yojana, Kurukshetra and Down to Earth that we discussed. Thanks for joining in and have a wonderful evening.